Hey folks, just trying the live format here with my phone, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. So just saying hello to everyone and some random observations here, so don't mind this because I'm using my phone here, and then I realize if I flip it, I lose the video, but I guess I could just go like this and say hello to everyone while I'm holding it. And yeah, basically this is my place, so I'm just taking a few moments for people to realize that I'm live, and just a few observations, nothing serious. So looking outside here, a lot of snow for today. Looks like another snowy day in Cochrane. We're getting a lot of it lately. I think they canceled school today because it's snowing. Kids are just not as tough as, well, not the kids, I guess the bus drivers, right? So yeah, don't mind the mess, this is live, I'm very sorry. So just up to a few things here. I've got my roommate, my ex-roommate's wheelchair here, electric wheelchair. He got really sick and now he's living at the hospital, but very similar situation as me. Not a lot of money here. And the batteries went kaput on here, and you know these can be like $4,000 or more to change, and he doesn't have that money right now. So he's got to rent it, and it's like $600 a month, which is crazy. So I brought the chair here, and I don't have very much on the spot here, but I'm trying to give it the quote-unquote Bedini treatment. And I've got the meter on there. Oh, it's responding, 22.5. I think I saw that there. So anyways, the idea is that the regular charger doesn't do it no more. The batteries are the quote-unquote memory effect. So I plugged in my own charger on that. So basically it's that little module here, which is an inverter, running at 12 volts, 220 or so volts, high frequency, 400 hertz. So I just got that going into a full bridge rectifier there, and on one side of the inverter I got my reactive capacitor, so it introduces reactive ohms. This drops my current. So basically what I'm trying to do is simulate Bedini's pulsing without current. I don't want to charge the system with current. I just wanted to see the high voltage spikes to try and, you know, erase the memory effect. So I started off at 21, which is really dead. If you consider these are two 12-volt batteries, it's a 24-volt system. So it's got ways to go, but it seems to be responding. So maybe within the month, you know, I'm hoping this will charge. And very small power supply, basically right here, which is capacitive on its own. And it has an internal little switching circuit, but driven with a capacitor in front of the AC line. So transformerless in that sense. So very efficient right there. So not a lot of current can come out of this to begin with, and then I'm further limiting it through the reactive cap here. So this is not costing me very much to run, essentially. And I did see it flicker there. I'm trying to catch it live on the spot, folks. Don't. I'm sorry if this is unscripted. So I'm sure I did see 22.5 there. 22.4. Okay, it's being stubborn because I'm trying to record it. It seems every time I bring the phone near it. Why won't you do this to me on demand? That's okay. I think I've seen it before anyways. Oh, there it is. See, I'm not crazy. 22.5. There. All right. So yeah, a bit of a mess here. I got all my tools. I couldn't, everything for the battery. You know, this case here, every screw was like different. It drove me bonkers to try and find. So I guess moving on. Oh my goodness, I still I gotta clean that up. This is from like a few videos ago. Really interesting concept. I like it a lot. ChatGPT agrees with it too, so that's always refreshing to hear. But I'm gonna have to clean all of that. And going into my lab here, what do we have? Oh, this is cute. It's been running don't mind the time. I don't pay attention to programming that. It's just to run it. But yeah, 6-month-old cell, just in a little box. I've showed this before. Peg cell has no problem running the clock. So that's doing its thing. So I'm happy with that. That's one of the peg cells that work well. Oh, these are other variants here. So what we have on the bottom layer, I'm gonna get near the light here so you can see through it there. Sodium metasilicate, 1/2, and the other half is peg. And that does interesting effects. I'm noticing higher potentials, like maybe 1.2, 1.3 volts per cell. But unfortunately, zero current. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. Depends on the goal, right? You know, I was trying to find something that could give me a little bit more than just electrostatic, you know, for the sake of research. But yeah, this does something. But I still don't have the chemicals I wanted for the reverse effects, like the redox reactions. That's in the works. The post office is actually on strike. So by the way, my apologies if I can't interact properly with the comments here. It's hard with one hand and talking with the phone and recording at the same time. So again, my apologies if I'm not with it, with the interactions here. So let's see what else I have here. Oh, something really interesting that's really interesting here. See this neon? It's been running like for 2 days off of a dead battery that I thought was dead. So basically more experiments with resonance. It's acting like a spark gap. And I've got a coil at 4 times the primary here. No magnets or coils, it's all RF, and I've got the scope on it here. And I've got a I was gonna make a movie out of this actually. I'm talking too far ahead of myself here. So I'm rectifying it, going back into the battery. Very inefficient because this is not a rechargeable battery. But needless to say, you know, it was basically dead. Well, for dead, it was like 6.5 volts kind of deal. And this is from a lava lamp, high frequency, high voltage. I've used on a few experiments, and it flickers. That neon looks like almost like a mini flame. It moves around barely, but it keeps generating that spike, as you can see, from the discharges and giving me that RF. It's a one-shot deal because it's so slow. So just confirming more of my own conclusions with resonance and that sort of thing. And I'm going to move on. I'm going to build a 100 megahertz system to prototype with. I've already got all the dimensions for it, the kind of antennas and the couplings, because I really do believe everyone's playing with way too low frequencies. Good for demonstration and everything, but much more dense energy at higher frequencies. So yeah, I'm really in now. I guess I won't be able to make a video of this because I've basically covered it. But yeah, just experimenting with resonance and spark gaps. I'm just using the neon to limit it to 100 volts, and that's giving me that spark gap. Very noisy and dirty, but that's what seems to work for now. So I think that's really cool, by the way, because that means there's at least 90 volts, so it's kind of doing like a relaxation oscillator kind of thing. It triggers at 100 and then turns slightly off below 90 or so, and then essentially it pumps itself in a negative resistance region is what I'm getting at. So very interesting kind of oscillations, which maybe, well, I shouldn't say maybe, if I have it configured properly, resonant energy is separate from the input. So if it's done right, obviously, you know, not within like traditional transformer kind of thing, but RF resonance, as I've explained. The radio station transmitter doesn't work any harder if there's one listener or 10,000 listeners. All it cares about is a matched impedance load at 50 ohms and it will be happy with that. It will dissipate its energy through whatever at that impedance, that AC 50 ohm match. That's all the RF transmitter cares about. So in other words, the RF transmitter is putting out the maximum power whether people are tuning in or not, is what I'm getting at. So we're just using those principles here to simulate the same thing on a very small scale. Now at one point, today I was hoping when this eventually should run out, because it's going to be a long time on a dead battery. This is not efficient. I like to try it with a rechargeable or a capacitor or something. But this coil, not the most perfect, well, I shouldn't say that. It's got a good resonant points, but I need to maximize this. Again, I'm tired of playing in the kilohertz range. I need to get into the very high megahertz and even microwave, as I have down here. Still in the works, by the way. Right, I do have a spectrum analyzer for that. It's right here, actually. It's this Hack RF. And I got all the software for it and the probes. Oh, this thing is really interesting. Never covered it, but you can play games with your brain waves. And you could learn to, like, control them. And I guess something for some other time, I guess, related to mind machines and that sort of thing. Side interests of mine, folks. So again, just putting this out there, not much going on, but I'm happy with all the research. See, I'm always doing something in the background, even if I'm not talking, there's always like an experiment or two going on. So I'm just going to point back to one of this clock here, because I like that. 6 months, over 6 months. I keep saying 6 months there. It's going to go in March, it's going to be a year, basically. And very good shaped cell. Nice and dry. So here's my stuff here. More power cells up there. So that Tesla coil, nice, but again, this is all very low frequency stuff, and I was saving that for something one day. Maybe a magnetic resonance of some sort there. That's what I did originally with it, and I had these magnets all around it with the, I forget what it's called. I keep calling it a Strongosoft. That's not what it is. But I'm sure you folks know what I mean. The guy had all these magnets and coils with levers, and I had the setup like that for a while with this, years ago actually. I was able to get not a square wave, but a kind of a very ugly sine wave, and it peaked at about 200 millivolts. And I had the scope and everything on there. I don't know where that video went. It ended up being a short somewhere. I don't know if I deleted it or what. But I don't think it was that. I don't think I made that public. But there's my it's not a Zamboni pod, but multiple series cells up there. And I gotta make a cleanup here because all my parts are getting. I had all the, which is nice. I got all my impedances all marked right, so I know what's what and what tray has what variance. So that's one good thing I did. Same thing with all the capacitors up there. They're all written down. I wonder if I have any more. No. See, I love these because you could experiment a lot with them. I haven't taken the oscillator out. But see, these normally take a lot of power to run, right, on its own. Because the oscillator wants to put everything out. Hold on, is it still? Yeah, there it is. So this is using the oscillator pretty well at its maximum power because it's one wire going in this tube here. And it's not closed loop. So it's basically this is a very strong localized field. But what I did with this thing here is with the neon, it limits it to 100 volts because I got it looping through the ground here in the battery side. So it doesn't give it a chance to make the oscillator work very hard, right? So in part, that's why the neon as a closed loop is actually limiting the oscillator from going more than what it needs to keep the loop going. Because our little neon here limits everything to around 90 volts. Even though this wants to go, let's say, to 15K. This won't let it. And also limits the current, because I don't want a current effect here. I want a resonant frequency effect. And it's still doing its thing on the scope here. It's really low value. I'm getting about 500 millivolts, but that's because the probe is connected on the diode side. The battery is basically dampening a big part of that. When I had it disconnected, I was reading anywhere 15 volts up. So I said, you know what, instead of wasting that was my crazy idea. Put it back to the front and see what it does. It's been maintaining the loop since yesterday, actually. So that's very interesting. I'm just looking for some more peg cells here. Oh, there's a few down here, and I got a lot of this. I was starting to think maybe I should, like, not good because Canada Post is closed, but, you know, package it and start selling it to people who can't find the peg, right? More cells here. This one still works, an old one. Another. These are pretty well all the same. And this one here is really interesting because I got a third probe here. So I was trying to make like an NPN, essentially. So I can bias it, see what would happen. So interesting stuff here. And I've been busy with binding all my research. I've got all of this stuff here that I gotta, like all these Tesla coil plans and articles, anything that's related to Tesla and my research. And I've just been doing the same thing for all kinds of stuff here. Oh, it's a job. And then I've got my quote-unquote stationary area here. And this is Foofy, my wolf. Hi, Foofy. Say hello to everyone. You're live. Hello, Foofy. Foofy. Well, she's afraid now because she thinks she knows something's up. Hello, Foofy. Hello, Foofy. That's Foofy. Oh, yeah, that's a Foofy. Oh, yes, that's Foofy. She doesn't like it when I do experiments. She hides under the bed. I said, don't worry. Don't worry. So anyhow, this is where I do a lot of printing for my research. And I've got all of this I need to, believe it or not, sort and go through and read and learn. Is the space-time a superconductor? Sounds interesting. Oh my goodness. So many. Because I don't believe in computer files sometimes for sensitive information, because hard drives go bonkers and you know what I mean, right? And you lose the data. USB sticks get zapped electrostatically, and so I need to, like, my research, you know, hard copy everything and bind it all. So luckily for all the binding supplies here, and all these printers that help me here. But it's no good because I'm out of toner. This one's out, that one's out. This is an old one from like when I was a teenager. I remember that one. It's actually my friend's. And yeah, this one also needs a new, that's a cartridge. Can't afford it right now. But yeah, I've been busy trying to, you know, in case something happens, YouTube may not last forever. So it's been what, about 20 minutes now. So with that said, folks, I hope you enjoyed and I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.